Identify the key features and then graph. The first thing that I'm going to do is convert this equation into vertex form by using x squared and x. Here I have a leading coefficient of 3, so I'm going to begin by factoring the 3 out. And when I factor the 3 out, I got to divide 3x squared by 3. That's going to give me the 1x squared. And then negative 6x divided by 3, that's going to be negative 2x. I'm going to add the quantity to complete the square. Then I'm going to subtract 9. But because I have a factor, I'm going to go ahead and subtract by 3 times that quantity. The opposite of that. So opposite of 3 is negative 3. And then I'm going to multiply it by the quantity that I'm going to use to complete the square. And that's going to be the coefficient of x, negative 2, divided by 2, raised to the second power. Here we get negative 2 over 2, raised to the second power. And now let's go ahead and clean this up. We have a 3. The binomial squared is going to be made up of x, and the negative 2 divided by 2, that's just going to be 1. Then we get negative 9 minus 3 times negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. If we square that, we're going to get a 1. And here we get negative 9. 3 times 1 is 3. And negative 9 minus 3 is going to give us a negative 12. I'm going to drop this down since this is going to complete the vertex form. So that's my vertex form. Let's go ahead and record that. We get 3 quantity x minus 1 squared minus 12. The concavity, since I have a positive 3, that's going to be concave up. And the y-intercept, I'm going to turn to the original equation and gather my c value, negative 9. So 0, negative 9. Now let's go ahead and solve for the x-intercepts. And to do that, we're going to grab the vertex form, which is 3 quantity x minus 1 squared, and then we're going to subtract 12. We're going to set that equal to 0. To solve, we're going to begin by adding 12 on both sides. On the left hand side, the 12s are going to cancel out, leaving me with 3 quantity x minus 1 squared, and then on the right hand side, 0 plus 12 is going to be 12. Now here, to proceed, I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. On the left, the 3's are going to cancel out, leaving me with the quantity x minus 1 squared, and then on the right hand side, 12 divided by 3 is going to give me a 4. To get rid of the square, I am going to square root both sides. On the left hand side, the square and the square root cancel out, leaving me with the x minus 1. And on the right hand side, we're going to get plus or minus, and the square root of 4 is 2. Now to isolate x, I add 1 to both sides. So I get that x is equal to 1 plus or minus 2. And splitting that up, my two solutions are going to be 1 plus 2 and 1 minus 2, which we can compute since they're common terms or like terms. 1 plus 2 is 3. And, here, let me see, x equals 3. And 1 minus 2 is going to be negative 1. So my x-intercepts are going to be 3, 0, and negative 1, 0. So negative 1, 0, and 3, 0. To get the axis of symmetry, we need to get the h value. And the h value is the opposite value of what we see inside of the parentheses. So here, let me rewrite the vertex form. And our h value is going to be the opposite of negative 1. So x is going to equal positive 1. The vertex is the coordinate h and k, which is the axis of symmetry paired up with the term at the end. So we get 1, negative 12. And now because we got a parabola that's going to be concave up, it's going to look something like that. We're going to get a minimum value. The vertex is going to be a minimum. Now that we have all of the key features, we are ready to graph. So turning our attention to the graphing component, we're going to begin by plotting the vertex, which is at 1, negative 12. So at 1, I'm going to go down to negative 12. So it's just a little bit outside of the grid, but I'm going to estimate that. So negative 12 is going to be somewhere there. And now I am going to create the axis of symmetry by drawing the line of reflection that cuts through this, through my vertex. So let me go ahead and do that in brown. And I get this line of reflection. So I can reflect all of my points. Now I'm going to graph the y-intercept, which is at 0, negative 9. So at 0, I'm going to go all the way down to negative 9. Now, this point is 1 unit away from the line of reflection. So to reflect that, I'm going to go over 1 unit. Let me go ahead and plot the x-intercepts now, which are going to be at negative 1 and at 3. So negative 1 is right here on the left, and then positive 3 is right here on the right. And now I am going to connect all of the points with a curve to get the sketch of the parabola.